Hi, I'm Alicia. I'm a junior here at BG, and I'm a special ed major, mild to moderate. And this semester, after being in a urban context for the past 2 years, I am in a suburban school, Douglas Elementary, and I am working with two teachers, Mrs. Nye, third grade, and then Mrs. Digby, kindergartners. And I definitely have to say it's a little different being in a suburban school because it's very straight to the point, organized, and it seems like everyone knows everyone, which is really weird. But I would think would be more with the rural context. But being in the urban school, people will just walk into classrooms and say, "Hey, what's going on? Why is your sister not here today?" It's two totally different things. Not saying urban's bad or anything, but that's just how it works at the two different places. But getting more specifically into Douglas Elementary. Um, I would definitely have to say I was a little bit shaky on the idea of being a lunch and a recess aide. Um, at the beginning of my placement, I was outside doing a lot of things for 4 periods, just watching kids play. I didn't exactly like that because I wanted to be more in the classroom, which I'm supposed to be there for. But I talked to the principal. She got me through into only being outside for 2 periods, which is really nice. But in the end, I actually really liked going to lunch and going outside because I got to get to know the students a little more. And I got to see their personalities because I had kindergartners at lunch, I had third graders, and I had fifth graders at lunch. So I got to see their different, like, the milestones that they had hit, and it was really interesting to think about that kind of stuff. Um, so I guess I'll start off talking about Mrs. Nye's classroom. Um, Mrs. Nye, she's let me do anything I want to do. I have the freedom to do whatever I want, and she lets me lead the classroom. Generally, she lets me do the morning work because I come in right as the students are coming in, and they're all eager to get in there and sit down in their seats, and it makes me feel good because they're always there and they always give me hugs. Um, every week, she also has me run one of the stations that the students have to do, and whenever I'm there, she always has one of these new games that the students don't know how to play, so I'm the one who has to sit there and read the directions and figure out how to play it and teach it to the kids. Generally, they're like to do with phonics or punctuation or reading. For example, I got to do phonics bingo. That was pretty interesting because I forgot some of those things and I was learning with them. But in Mrs. Digby's classroom, I generally observed and I watched her read to the students because they're little, so they love books. And sometimes I assess the kindergartners on their reading. So this past placement that I had, I got to do their end of the trimester reading words. I got to see what words they knew, the sight words, and then I got to mark off which ones they didn't know so Mrs. Digby could work on those with them. Um, let's see, some stuff I learned. The students, specifically the kindergartners, made me see that not only is there teaching at that young age, but there's lots and lots of needed discipline. The kids don't exactly focus that well because they're so hyper all the time. They're always so excited to learn, but they're always talking at the same time. I generally keep their focus by constantly asking them questions and reiterating what they had learned, what they had read, and then had them repeat what I'd said to them or asking them more questions, and that generally helped keep their focus. The third graders, they're little comedians, to say the least. They're always joking. They have awesome personalities. Their academic ranges, they vary a lot, though. We had some students who had moved here from different areas, and they're at different levels. And it helped me a lot getting used to not being in a special education room because I'm used to doing intervention and helping with students one-on-one more than anything. Going into a general ed classroom, that is. And I got to work one-on-one with them, help them do some of their math lessons, and I take like a small group of them out in the hallway. I generally do that with third graders because the kindergartners, it's hard to tell right now what level they're kind of on because they're just now learning how to read. But I got to work a lot with them one-on-one, and it really helped to get me used to it, to bring me into seeing the general ed classroom and to seeing the special ed classroom. So it was kind of cool to see them two together. After working with all these students, I realized a good amount about my teaching. First, I need to work on my patience with the little ones and working on talking on their level. So, meaning by patience, they have a tendency to tattle on each other. I need to learn a little bit more about the discipline and how to deal with those situations, which I'm learning a little bit about now in my classroom management course. And I've been trying to utilize those things that I've been learning in that course into the classroom. I see it's been working a lot. And I need to work on talking on their level because I'm not used to talking, going from class, having to talk about academic language and person-centered planning and all these big words, and I have to kind of, I guess, slow it down a little bit and get on their level and talk to them. That's kind of hard sometimes. And then also going from a third grade classroom down to a kindergarten classroom, I kind of have to lower my language then too. Um, I've also learned that my intervention skills are strong, but they could be a little bit better. Specifically, I was working with one student who was having issues with long addition, so I figured that it would work. Well, it didn't. It didn't for her. I used those little counting squares, like the yellow ones that had the ones, the tens, and the hundreds, and I'd used that a little bit before with different students in a different classroom, and those seemed to work well. But she didn't exactly understand the whole concept about once you got 10 of the tens together, you could turn it into 100, and I just kind of confused her a little bit, which I felt bad about. But in the end of trying to think through some new ways to teach her, I ended up just having to go back to the basics and teaching her step by step how to do the long addition, and she got it. And those are the moments I live for, and that's why I want to be a teacher. Just seeing that little light bulb go off in her brain really helped me to see that teaching is what I want to do. Um, what did I learn from the teachers I was with? From Mrs. Digby, I learned that these kinds of situations where you're just kind of sitting there observing, yes, they are very, very helpful in learning how to see different kinds of ways to teach students. But I learned that me just sitting there and watching her didn't really help me that much. So I think for the future in my classroom, if I had a student teacher or someone who's an ECCO in mine, I would really implement that and help them to see what I'm seeing and help them to understand if this is really what I want to do or if this isn't what I want to do. Basically the whole concept that ECCO is. And I want to help them get the experiences that I've gotten, which are great. And what I learned from Mrs. Nye is that a crazy personality that she has can really liven up a class. Her students love her quirky sense of teaching and they're always on their toes waiting to see what's going to happen next with her crazy stuff that she does. She always comes in, she's always hyper, so some of the kids kind of drag in because they're still tired, and she's hyper and ready to go and gets them attentive and ready and shows them that she's ready to learn, and so is she. So I guess to sum it all up, I would definitely have to say this semester has been great in teaching me a lot of things because I know that general education is a great, great area, but I know for sure that I'd love my special education area, and that whole working one-on-one with students can really, really help, really help me and myself, and it can really help other students. Being mild to moderate, you can do reading specialists, or you can just help little groups of kids, and I prefer that more one-on-one personal contact with someone than I do with a big classroom. And I would also like to say that the whole idea of opening up ECCO to suburban, urban, and rural has been great. It's opened up so many opportunities, and there's so many more people in our group now that it's just awesome. And it's great to see from me coming from freshman year 2 years ago, there being I don't know, say 100 people in it, to us not having room next year and us having to move over to Mac and having to have a bigger space for us to live, which is great, and I love that. I'm glad to say that I've been a part of helping that, come to where it is, and to say that I'm one of the upperclassmen who's experienced the whole big change from it. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be there next semester because of the crazy method stuff that's coming up. So I'm definitely going to be stopping by and coming. I'm going to come to the conference this year. I don't know what it's called this year, but I'm definitely going to be coming, and I'm excited to see what else comes of ECCO. Thank you. Bye.